I've been involved in the design team for CPP, so for the last year I've been involved in the meetings about rethinking the course for the new curriculum. I was at some of the Have Your Say events and things, and I suppose just that helped create a network of kind of staff and students being a part of it as much of the staff was a really kind of clear thing that felt like it was a very supportive environment to help people understand the changes that were happening and also to encourage each other to take kind of bold steps forward as well.
Well, I've been involved in the student consultation and also the review of all of the degree programmes. So my involvement's been for the last few years really, most recently sitting on the panels with all of the conveners to really give a fair student perspective to all of the programmes. I did have to read them all, which was quite an arduous task, but it was really interesting to read it from student eyes, but also from someone that's seen how they've developed and how they've been designed. For me, the workshop sessions were really important because there were often quite a few decisions that needed to be made that were tricky decisions that maybe didn't immediately sit well with everybody involved, but it was great to have the workshop sessions to work through them as a group to ensure that everyone's perspective was heard. It meant that there was a lot of discussions in designing the programmes, people advising one another, people admitting their strengths and their weaknesses and helping each other along the way, which I think is positive for all of the staff and the students involved really. It's important that we have that kind of community where people feel safe and supported as well.
Every meeting that I went to was always focused on the student. It was what do the students want and how will that enhance them as artists. It was always that way around, and I think it would be an absolute travesty if it were any other way. I think that that's the way to do it, and of course that's never going to be perfect. You're always going to have to compromise in order to make it fit, but knowing that that thought was there, it means that the delivery and the quality of the teaching is really going to shine through this new curriculum.
It's been amazing. I have learned so much about what goes on in this amazing conservatoire.
I can't imagine another opportunity in my teaching career where there will be such a root and branch transformation of what we're trying to do educationally, philosophically, ideologically.
We did have programme design teams that were made up of people from many different disciplines, which was great because they questioned everything that you were doing and everything that you plan to do. So there was a real interrogation going on.
It was a very dynamic process. It had moments of real elation and celebration, and it had other moments when you really were thinking, are we ever going to get through this? But any really strong driver for change is going to have those kind of two elements, I think.
I think the most important thing I've learnt is to value the potential that other members of staff have. We found out so much about colleagues' abilities and skills beyond what they're already here to do, and I think that's really how this new curriculum is going to work.
We've met lots of people, but we've also developed working relationships with other departments that we wouldn't have had before, so that's going to be of real value to the students going forward.
Something that is key to the success of the project has been the cross-school, cross-departmental student and staff conversation, and it's been a really lively debate, and it's begun with very big, broad philosophical issues that we've had to contend with, and that's always my favourite place to start.
Primarily what I've learned is that communicating with various members of staff is first of all and primarily the most important part of this in collaboration. Understanding that we all have perhaps different ideas of what direction we're heading in, but we're actually all heading in the same direction to produce an even better experience for the most important people in this conservatoire, which in fact are the students.
I was involved in the external facing theme group for the new curriculum, and that was great because we were able to bring in people from the outside, again people from the music industry with all sorts of experience, and talk to them, ask them to ask us questions about how we're developing the new curriculum, try out ideas, but also ask them to bring in their expertise, their experience in order to inform us about the process, inform us about our own process.
We had a lot of consultation, a lot of discussion around, you know, we kind of want to know your students better. We want to find ways of working with you while they're training in order for them to be more employable, because we'll know them better.
We have had cluster sessions where we brought together some of the programme teams in little groups and talked through some of the what are the curriculum principles, how will those work out in practice, what will the credit structure be for all of our programmes in terms of how will we individual programmes sit within that, how much space can we make room for in terms of choice and so forth. And so there's been a lot of support in that respect.
I think it's given the staff a lot of confidence. 2 of the department are either on the PG Cert or have completed the PG Cert, so that makes them understand where the institution's going, but also makes them realise how they sit within the higher education sector.
We're in the middle of it still. We recognise that, you know, we've got lots to do, and that it will only really be truly living and breathing when it's inhabited by a new generation of students. But my goodness, we're making something that's more than fit for the 21st century, and it's a really exciting thing to be part of.